Greetings once again, heroes and villains out there. Duuz-Diz-Din, back at it again with My Hero Academia. Previously, as Gentle did his best to hold UA aloft, La Brava was finally able to get the flight systems back online. All the while, the business course students proceed to film everything going on, in the hopes that maybe seeing how desperately everyone is fighting for the future can bring some form of hope to the people who have lost so much of it, and maybe even repair the relations between the heroes and the populace. Meanwhile, Eraserhead and Present Mike have been knocked off the platform that they were on by the horde of Twice clones, only to be warped away by Kurogiri. To where? Who knows? Meanwhile, All For One is trying to get back in control of Tomura, and even reveals that the fusion of the two was not actually intentional. I'm guessing it was supposed to be a full takeover, not a combination. But as Hawks desperately tries to stop him, he's seemingly killed, only for it to be an illusion created by Kami, as the students of Shiketsu High have arrived, with Inase making massive cyclones to suck up all the Twice clones. What could take down a horde of clones? A natural disaster. But will Shiketsu's arrival turn the tides of battle, or will they just be another casualty to this ongoing war? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, we got the rundown of the Shiketsu kids. Kami Utsuhime, Shiketsu High Hero Course. And she says, is that All For One? I thought he, didn't have a face. That's old news, kid. Seiji Shishikura, Shiketsu High Hero Course, who says, I would like nothing more than to kill him and avenge my father. But alas, his father. Oh, now that I think about it, we did focus on one guard in one of the prisons, Tartarus, that we focused on a little too much. Was that Seiji's father? I kept wondering about that because we focused on one of them specifically, and he kind of looked familiar to me. Did Seiji's father die during the breakout? And then we have Inase Yarashi, Shiketsu High Hero Course, who says, nope, can't give in to spite and hatred. That'd be giving the big bad what he wants. And Seiji says, indeed, as a prison guard my dad set out to protect, I shall take up his mantle. You think we did at least get an image of Seiji's dad or something? And we see the other kids of Shiketsu coming in saying, we're hearing that Shigaraki and Deku have left the cage. Shishikuros, we've got alums here too. Whatever it takes, we've got to put a lid on this chaos. Shishikura's hero name. I hate your hero name, Seiji. I'm just gonna call you Seiji. I'm not calling you Shishikura's. Pixie Bob sees Tokoyami flying in as she readies an attack and says mounds and waves of earth crashing as everyone else goes in on all the multitude of Twices, saying, before it's too late, Toga needs to be subdued, while we also pepper All For One with every ranged attack we've got. It is, in fact, an all-out war. Sukuuchi gets in communication with Hawk, saying, you hanging in there, Hawks? Hawk says, oh, Sukuuchi, yeah, your backup came in the nick of time, saved my life. Sukuuchi says, actually, they were on the move before we submitted the request. Anyhow, we've heard how All For One has his old body back, so keeping him there at Gunga could decide the whole war. Stop him from getting away by any means necessary. And All For One grabs one of the Twice clones and it just melts in his grasp. He thinks, I can only steal a quirk by touching the true body. Initially, they were mindful of the risk that accompanied challenging me with a large force. Ooh, but then he sprouts out, oh yeah, what's this chapter called? Number 381, Dark. All For One sprouts appendages out of his back saying, no more holding back then. Tossing aside all precaution to bring me down. Very well. And with a dark smile, All For One lets out this massive wave of energy across the battlefield. It blasts back Kamui Woods as well as Shroom Age. Little girl looks like she's getting blasted to shit. Hawks thinks he started combining even more quirks at once. The Lion Hero guy says, those still on your feet, don't let up. Stand strong, defenders. Look, he's been stopped in place. Keep up those attacks. And All For One says, so late in the game, you still think you'll somehow emerge from this? You see, Dobby chasing down Endeavor. As All for One says, even without the one man who can stand up to me, that's not bravery. You see Jiro trying her best to stand her ground. All for One says, you are just ignorant of my golden age, as the generation that from a young age witnessed All Might's rise, and the next that only ever knew a world where he reigns supreme. You see Ochako trying to stand her ground as well. All for One says, ignorant of the era when all trembled in fear of something imperceptible lurking unseen in the dark, when all were tainted by suspicion, resentment, exploitation, and prejudice. During my golden dark age, All for One is suddenly blown up by a draft. It's a Nase saying, nah, we know all about that stuff. I mean, never heard of you, but they teach us that junk in contemporary history class. And me, I decided to keep watching my pal Todoroki and his dad, to root for them. That hot-blooded passion is gonna beat out fear to win the day. I love that. Hawks hearing that just was like stunned. You can even see Seiji's, meatball fingers coming at All for One. All for One thinks to himself, embedding ranged attacks within this cage of wind? He then says, time to steal a few, perhaps? Ooh. He then sends out those black, dark tendrils shooting out of his body. It just starts stabbing into the landscape around everybody. As someone calls out, Inase, keep up that windstorm while blowing those toga doubles into the air. That is a lot to ask of one person, especially as Inase just gets smacked in the face by one of the tendrils. But without missing a beat, he says, you got it. My quirk's even stronger when the weather's real blustery to start with. Forget you and your ancient glory days. What I want to see is a future built by the guys I'm cheering on. Hawks thinks to himself, Endeavor. And he remembers what he said to Endeavor. No progress? I disagree. We're seeing it here. One for all is a power that links people's heart. And Hawks thinks to himself, it's not just one for all. You've done your job paying it forward too. I can't stand that look in their eyes. No, it's All for One saying that. He's thinking, I can't stand that look in their eyes. Looking past me, having lost none of that light. Well, no, the light has gone out. Yet they stoke the flame, like heaping kindling onto the fire. He tells them, you dare not approach, for fear of losing your quirks to me. Enough nonsense. Come and meet your fate. Ooh, snap. What the hell? Oh, I thought that was Kurogiri for a second there. But no, it's Tokoyami. How the fuck? I've been waiting for this though. For him to finally just unleash everything. And I've never seen All for One legitimately look like, the fuck is that? All for One thinks to himself, the sensation, an attack I need to dodge at all costs. That explains it. Tokoyami says, even darkness comes in a range of shades, so you don't get to speak of the dark, that muddy, dismal darkness you brought about. Tokoyami thinks of his friends as the massive form of Dark Shadow looms over All for One, saying, we've already devoured it whole. Holy shit, I'm actually getting chills from this. Yes, go off, my boy. Tokoyami thinks, those sudden storm clouds that shrouded us all from the light of day extended the time limit on my power. As for the flames, they shrunk at the windstorm tore up the tree roots and all. Oh, that's why he saw him going to Pixie Bob before. He said to her, please envelop me with your earth so that I might amass darkness. That's what it was. Tokoyami tells All for One, All Might told me that you could not steal Endeavor's quirk simply by grasping his flames. This is why I was chosen to support Hawks and Endeavor. He uses Dark Shadow. Total release. Hawks thinks. He started prepping for this the second Shiketsu showed up. He yells out to Tokoyami, crush him! Inase says, here's a tailwind for a boost. And Hawks thinks, if I was able to pay it forward to you even a little, then dirtying these wings was well worth it, as the full weight of Dark Shadow is brought down upon All for One, with abyssal black body, light of Baldur. Oh man. Oh man. That is so awesome. Oh, Tokiyami, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this. Because we've been building up Tokoyami's power in the background for the longest time, but there's so many times when it's just like, oh no, there's not enough darkness, there's too much light, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that, and it's just like, no, Tokoyami has the power. He has the power. He just needs to unleash it. And it's like, yes, they created the perfect circumstances necessary to just unleash the beast. Now, I doubt that took him out. But just let me bask in the hype of my boy Tokoyami. Just bringing the hammer down. Just... Oh, that was fun. That was fun, if nothing else. And a combined effort from Anase and Tokoyami, as well as everyone just pouring their abilities into it. Like, yes. Like, that's the thing, too. This is a stalling tactic. It's just like, nah, he's burning himself up. We have to stall. Because we've seen before, especially with All Might, with enough overwhelming power, he can be overwhelmed all for one. So hopefully this is enough to at least put him on the back foot just a bit. This was fun. This chapter really got me hyped. And I personally love fights where it takes a lot of parties to really do some damage. This was just fun. Oh man. Just that panel. Just going to the next panel and just seeing this massive shadow looming over All for One. I really thought it was Kurogiri for a second there, because I'm just like, did the entire sky just turn into Kurogiri? And I was like, no, it's Tokoyami. I'm like, what? What? Oh, that was so cool. That was so cool. And I was wondering what that little panel of Tokoyami rushing the Pixie Bomb was about. I'm like, why is he freaking out like that? What's wrong with you, man? But it's just like for that to be the build up to this. Oh, so good. I had fun with this. I had a lot of fun with this. Come what may next chapter, but this chapter, oh, yes. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How much damage do you think All for One received? Do you think he's been taken out, injured, or mildly annoyed? At some point, I see him just getting out of there to rush to Shigaraki. But we also need to catch back up on what's going on with Dabi and Endeavor, because they're racing off, battling it out. So this was a fun place to have things go. But let me know your thoughts and comments. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on my next video. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.